So today I want to talk about communicating with some of our younger clients. I'm talking about Gen Z and even maybe some of the younger millennials. Now, although I am Gen X, I feel like I have a lot in common with this generation, with some of my likes and dislikes, especially when it comes to forms of communication. I was reading a post on Facebook today where a DJ was getting frustrated with a client for several reasons. One of which was that this client was not responding to his emails, was asking them questions about their event, and he wasn't hearing back from them at all. What's going on here? But before we go any further, let me just say this. I'm the last person to jump onto some of this tech that a lot of you like. For instance, I don't do any online planning forms. Anytime I plan an event, I do it custom from scratch in a Word doc because all events are custom. Why would I want to use anything that resembles a standardized form? The other thing is, I hate email a lot. Some people try to get a hold of me through email and they wonder why they can't. Well, it's because I don't even look at it half the time. It's such a pain. Stuff gets lost in spam folders. There's a lot of spam that comes through. And I don't want to have to weed through all that. That's an entire day for me. Forget it. I don't do WhatsApp. I don't have Messenger on my phone for Facebook. So yeah, I'm not the easiest guy to get a hold of, but there's one easy way to get a hold of me, and that's texting. And I think Gen Z is there too. They're done with all this stuff. They are texters, not phone calls. Why not? Well, because they're trying to avoid any numbers they don't recognize. Spam calls are terrible now. I mean, half the time you answer your phone, more than half the time you answer your phone, somebody's asking you about the extended warranty on your Pontiac Vibe that you don't own. So, most of the time, unknown phone calls or phone calls from numbers you don't recognize just completely get ignored. But texting, so far, hasn't been too spammy. I get them once in a while, but not very often. And when I do, they're easy to identify. Gen Z and the millennials, I think, are there too. They want to keep it simple. They don't need 65 forms of communication, especially email. Texting is the way to go. I'm going to give you some tips on texting. When you text somebody for either the first time or the first time in a long time, introduce yourself. There have been so many times that I get texts on my phone from somebody that says, "Hey Brian, when are you going to be in town?" I don't know who it is. They're not contacts in my phone. Or they got a new number. They transferred my contact information over on a new number and I don't know who they are. You have to introduce yourself in these texts. "Hey, it's Brian the DJ. Got some questions about your event coming up." The other thing that I do with texts is I use it as an icebreaker for a phone conversation. "Hey, it's Brian the DJ. I've got some questions about your event coming up. Can I call you?" And then they'll text back, either saying, "Yeah, let's talk," or, "You know what, can you call me tonight when I get home from work?" Simple. Simple, simple, simple. I don't use texting as you might use email, where it's this long threaded conversation. It's a question and an answer, or it's a request for a phone conversation. And I've had really good success with it. But yeah, email is something that I just don't do. To get any client to bend to your preferred method of communication, I think, is just counterproductive. They're not going to bend to your way of communication. I'm not going to bend to your way of communication. If you want to get a hold of me, you need to text me. And don't forget to tell me who you are when you text me. Once you get some kind of text thread started, they'll eventually enter you in as a contact and you can call and they'll answer it. But until that time, they may not. And you can also enter them in as a contact. So if they call you, you're not ignoring them, worried that they are a junk call. So I don't know. Although I don't embrace a lot of new technology and I resisted texting for a long time. Machete don't text. BSR didn't do it for a long time. My uncle lost his ability to speak and it became a great way for us to communicate. And I kind of warmed up to it. But my brother, he will try to have a conversation with me on text. I won't do that. I'll call him after like the fourth text and I'll like, "Dude, we're not 16-year-old girls. Call me." But yeah, this is a good way to do it. And I think this is the preferred method. It makes it easy. People are busy. They don't have time to sit at their computer and go through that stuff or scroll through their phone and try to read an email. Texting, I think, is the way to go. And I'm just throwing it out there for you today for what it's worth. Just some ideas. My ideas aren't always good, but they're mine. And I'll give them to you for free. So thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you. We'll see you next time. Practice and enjoy.